What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Straight Betting. Today is Sunday, May 18th. We are doing a preview, and by we, it's me and JG, me and Joel. We're doing a preview on the Knicks and Pacers series. We're going to look at futures lines. As you can see, we have good old FanDuel pulled up. And yeah, Joel, you ready to talk some futures? I know we don't really do futures or anything, but it's just, something to talk about, some hoops to dissect and preview for betting game one and all that stuff. So yeah, Joel, what do you think about it?
For sure. I'm going to need some action on this series because I cannot stand either of these teams. I hate the Pacers. They knocked the Cavs out. And I mean, the Knicks are the Knicks.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need something to bet on just for interest purposes.
Does it make you feel better that Boston lost too, kind of?
I mean, it does on one hand, just because like it feels good to see Boston go down, but on the other hand, it feels like the Cavs squandered such a golden opportunity to get their way to the finals, because I think they would have beat both of these teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they would have beat the Knicks. I don't think they would have beat the Pacers because they didn't beat the Pacers.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The Cavs definitely kind of did. At the same time, injuries weren't fortunate and stuff. And yeah, man, I don't know if these are the two best teams in the conference. You got to give the Knicks credit though. Got to give the Knicks credit because you can't make that injury thing. You could say KP, but like, bro, come on. But Tatum tore his Achilles when like the game was over. They were about to go up 3-1 if Tatum never got hurt at all. So got to give the Knicks props. But yeah, definitely a surprising Eastern Conference Finals, man. I think it's good for the game. I wish that the Nuggets would have lost or won so bad, man. And before we get into that series, Joel, we got to talk about it. Went on Straight Betting. Do we never pass up on the opportunity to talk about a little bit of Wolves? Not even Wolves. I guess let's talk about the Game 7 game, Denver OKC. I made this tweet before, and Joel, you were like, "Don't count out Jokic," which is true, right? Don't count out Jokic. But I had such a feeling that this game was going to be a shit show, and Aaron Gordon, him getting hurt was like the last straw. I stand on this that Nuggets team is not good. If they have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray is a random top 5 point guard on any given night, but that team ran out of gas. They literally had like 4 trusted people in the rotations, and like Christian Brown was forced into like a 44-minute a night role. But yeah, Joel, what were your thoughts on that Denver OKC game?
Yeah, dude. I mean, that home court advantage for OKC is actually just, it's nasty. Nobody wants to go in there and play them. It's just like, that's just brutal. Like the blowout rate on that floor has to be so high this season for them.
Yeah, I know. Like seriously, like I wonder what their net rating was at home. Like fucking 20.
It's got to be disgusting.
Yeah, I mean that's true, dude. I just know I'm gonna have so many crash out moments this series. Like, dude, OKC. Like, I don't know how you could root for OKC unless you're a Thunder fan. Like, I don't even know why I'm saying that because it's not like they have like. It's just like the way they play, bro. Like they foul, dude. Yes, I respect their defense. Obviously, it's really good, and I respect their philosophy by like, let's just play hard as shit. You know, if we foul, we foul. They're not gonna like call everything. That's like, I mean, that's like their defensive philosophy. But like, it gets to a point, bro, where like Caruso is just like hacking like 5
Mugging,
times.
dude.
Like it's ridiculous, and then they just force a turnover off of it. Like every time they get a transition, fast break, Shea, always going to make the right play in transition. J-Dub, great in transition too. And then they just go on these like 12-0 runs and the game's like over, especially when it's at the crib. Like I just know that like Julius Randle is going to be. I bet they guard Randle with Caruso a lot too after seeing what he could do against Jokic and stuff. And I just know, man. I just like tell me I'm wrong, bro. Like, do you enjoy? Like, will you ever root for the Thunder?
I think I am a Thunder fan until the end of this NBA season.
Really?
I'm just gonna drop that in there.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
It's simply because of how much disdain I have for the Knicks and the Pacers, and I think that they just have a stronger chance to to be the NBA champion, like over the Wolves. I think if they run into either the Pacers or the Knicks, like it's just going to be a bloodbath. For like purely entertainment purposes, obviously, like seeing the Wolves versus either of those teams, I think would be much better series. But like, I don't want to see either of those teams win. I just do not want to see either of those teams win a title, and so I'm hitching my wagon onto the Oklahoma City Thunder.
So you want the Thunder to win because deep down you got a Donnie and agenda. First of all, that you didn't even mention.
That
And
too.
I know
There's
you're thinking
that
about it.
too. There's that too.
And then second of all, because you trust them to beat the team in the East more, which is actually like very true.
I'm a very
Very
spiteful dude. I'm a spiteful dude.
Okay, I could see that actually. I could actually see like a Cavs fan rooting like against Ant because like I dude, I'm not gonna lie. There'll be times when like Mitchell like sometimes is like in God mode and I'm like, dude, fuck this guy. Like honestly. But no, yeah,
Ant
actually okay, I
also
get it.
like has the biggest head, dude. Like he's his and like he backs it up, but like I don't know. Shea just feels like a star who's like a lot more, mellow and level-headed, and I think it makes him just a little bit more likable to the fans that are not Wolves or Thunder fan.
I think that with OKC though, just like, dude, I don't think people are truly grasping like if they win a chip this year, like, I mean, we thought that like the KD, like they could like be like a KD Warriors type dynasty, and like that's like I don't like that shit either. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you weren't rooting for the
11,
Warriors then.
11 first-round picks in what is it, the next 3 years
Yeah,
or something like that? I mean, they can just replace talent at an absurd level because of all those picks. It's like the second apron is not even going to affect them.
no, I mean
It's
it will
scary.
kind of, but
I
they're
mean, if
gonna
they
have
can
to.
hit on one of the three picks every year, I mean, they're just going to keep replacing talent.
Yeah, they'll like trade J-Dub for like 6 picks and then like and then have
Steve
like
it.
max their like 2027 like first round pick that ended up being like a superstar or something. Like, yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. We can't we as a collective need to root against OKC. Like we can't have this like team, this like corny ass team running the league that just fucking hacks all the time. And I don't know, man. That's how I feel.
I,
And
I I
that's
have a question for you. I thought about this the other day. Has there ever been an NBA draft pick that has been more valuable than Nikola Jokic? What was he like
no.
the late second round?
Yeah,
He's
absolutely
got to
not.
be the best value pick in NBA history, right?
Yep. And do you know who picked him?
Who?
Tim Conley, GM in Minnesota right now, baby.
Oh my God. Everything comes full circle.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's gonna be Wolves Thunder is gonna be fun. I'm sure I'll break it down before that series starts. Even though that series starts on
Sure.
Tuesday, and this one starts on Wednesday. So
I have a hankering you guys are gonna have a rough go of this series.
yeah, man. Um,
I'm
in
not
Ant
gonna
we trust. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah,
This matchup just feels kind of brutal for you.
we don't have ball handlers, bro. We really don't have ball
That's
handlers.
that's
Like
that's the problem.
that is the problem. I like honestly, we can OKC's like their team is like not that talented, to be honest with you. Like you can just kind of play zone
Yeah.
against them and like let the role players brick. Like honestly, like that's what the Nuggets did. Their defense looked good, like 4 out of the 7, 5 out of the 7 games or something. And
Yep.
like, I mean, it's just gonna come down to a close game. I mean, obviously OKC not having home court on them is definitely tough. Like, there's always a chance that they might have to. They're gonna have to win their home games. That's for sure. The Wolves are. So yeah. All right, we're about 10 minutes in, Joel, and we have not said a word about the Pacers Knicks preview. So, guys, we will put timestamps down below, so you guys can skip this shit because it's probably not what you clicked on the video for. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the series. So, as we can see here on the screen, um, Knicks are minus 146, Pacers plus 124. I have a slight take on that. I think that this is kind of favoring the Knicks too much, and I know you feel that exact same way.
Yep.
Elaborate a little bit more on that for us.
Yeah. So to me, I just with the way that the Pacers play the game, I just feel like they're kind of peaking right now, and they have a ton of momentum. They closed the season extremely strong, and then it just kind of kept rolling through in the playoffs. And I just think they're just pretty undervalued here at plus 124. I think they're a better overall team, top to bottom. And so, yeah, I think they got a really good shot here to beat the Knicks.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that I kind of agree with it. I actually do think that this Pacers team is a little bit better, and I think that the Knicks defense is really going to struggle to defend this offense, which we'll touch on a little bit more. But yeah,
Shooting is
man.
gonna
I
be
mean, like I
fast.
said, yeah, it's like I'd lean Pacers slightly better team, and then give the Knicks their home court advantage. Right? I'd have the series
Yep.
closer to like minus 110 each side. You know what I'm saying? So I think it should be closer to that. I think that the plus 124 has decent value. We can go down to series spread. Is there Pacers? What is like a Pacers plus 1.5? Looks like minus 188. That's probably not the best value. I don't know. That's interesting though. I don't really see the Pacers going out in 6, right? Because that game 6
No,
would
me
be
neither.
yeah.
In Indy, yeah.
So Joel, this okay. This line is used to shit, but over 5.5 games, and I saw that there's minus 170 on like other books, and obviously shop around for all this stuff before you place any bet in general. Over
Yep.
5.5 games, man. I don't have any like data, have any like write up to say why this series is going 6, but I would be stunned, like absolutely flabbergasted, if the series ended in 5 or less games. Like
I
these two
agree.
teams are just like two very equal opponents in my opinion. And I think both these teams take care of business at home. Like Pacers at home are going to be a great team. Knicks at home, obviously, going to be a great team. I would just be so stunned if this series truly does not go at least 6.
Yeah, I think they're too evenly matched. Five a team for one of the teams to win 4-1 in this series would be, I mean that would just be that would be shocking, honestly. I don't see neither of them have like a super edge when it comes to like star power or anything like that. So yeah, I don't see it personally. So I
Yeah.
agree with you 100%. Even at that, what's the price there? Minus 188.
Hmm.
Even at
Yeah.
that price, I don't think it's that bad.
That's a rough one to swallow, but we can maybe like even like look at some other stuff to find some like juicy juices and stuff, or
Yep,
just keep an eye on this one, shop around. I would like if this line was like minus 150, I think I'd probably play it. Like I said, I feel so
I
confident
agree.
about it.
I agree.
Minus one, yeah. So maybe wait for a better number to pop up. All these other ones are kind of goofy. Yeah, like series correct score. Like I don't know, Joel. Do any of these? You can see the screen right now, right? I don't know if any do any of these like really intrigue you or anything. Like I said, I don't see this going less than 6. Maybe we think that Indy, is able to win the series. Like Pacers in 6, I don't hate like plus 470, just because we both kind of lean towards Pacers, so there's probably like a little bit of value on these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that. I don't typically like predicting, how many games a series goes. It just feels like, throwing darts at a board to me. Too hard to
yeah,
nail down.
yeah. I know. I agree. I agree. I agree completely. So, guys, obviously we are kind of prop guys, so they do have some series player specials up. We're gonna quick glance over these and see if anything's intriguing, and then we're actually gonna get into like the breakdown of the series and talk about how we think things are gonna go. And based off of that, click on like these like most points, most threes, most rebounds, most assists things to look at, and then we could even maybe take a glance at the game one lines to finish it off. But yeah, series player specials right here. Look, so you know what? Let's skip this and let's just go straight to the breakdown because I think all that stuff's important. So Joel, first thing I want to talk about, let's talk about some matchups, right? So Indiana's defense versus the Knicks offense. I'm gonna start it off. We all watch that Cavs series. We all watch how they guarded Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
They completely didn't. I mean, they didn't care about. They definitely cared about him, but they did stay home on shooters, especially at the 3-point line. They did,
Other than Max Strus,
yeah, yep.
but
And then they
like
also, oh, sorry, you go.
the rest of the shooters, they pretty much locked in on.
Yeah, So yeah, Mitchell averaged 34 points per game, and that's actually skewed low due to that absolute shit show of a game four, was it? Yeah, game four,
Yep.
where Mitchell only played the first half, got hurt. But yeah, Mitchell probably like realistically averaged closer to like 40 points than he did 34, like if we're being honest. And he also was playing that game five hurt. So
He had
ridiculous
some great
volume for
games.
ridiculous volume for Donovan Mitchell. Based off of that, I kind of think that, they start off the series at least by letting JB, play single coverage. Indy also got completely fried by Brunson in the postseason last year and still ended up winning the series. Like they were letting Brunson go for like, high 30-point totals and stuff. So I do kind of think that he sees a decent amount of that for sure. But then like the individual matchups, Joel, and I want your take on this. I think you kind of agree with like the single coverage stuff on Brunson, right?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say probably played like exactly the same as they play Mitchell.
Yeah. And then here's the matchups I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they probably put Nemhard on Brunson, and I could be wrong on that.
No,
Maybe it's
I
me.
agree.
Yeah. Probably Nemhard, and then I think Neesmith takes OG Anunoby, and I'll get into some more stuff on that in a little bit. I think that Hallie, the weak link on defense, they don't really have much weak links, but I do think he actually guards McCall because I do think that they want Miles Turner to guard Josh Hart, with the rim protection and then put Siakam on Towns because that's what every team does now, right? I think that
Yeah,
putting Turner on Cat would be a
I think it makes
massive,
sense.
massive mistake. If that's the case, Cat's going to have a huge series. That just,
I think Cat has a huge series either way. I'll be honest.
just like a bounce back series, or like, do you think
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I think he can just take advantage one-on-one against Siakam as well. Like, I just don't think Siakam's a guy that's going to be able to really guard Cat all that well.
Yeah, but then the whole point of that, right, is to have Turner lurking off of Hart.
At the rim. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
who does offer good rim protection. I don't think Turner is like the defensive player he once was, but definitely still a rim protector. So my thoughts on this, Joel. Look, if Brunson's getting single coverage, right, that's obviously pretty bad for everyone else on the team, right? I mean, that's just going to be a ton of volume off rip, not ideal. Um, but Neesmith on OG is something that's like really interesting to me because Neesmith, if he's on OG, like I said, I think that you can't have Hallie on OG because OG is way too physical for him. He'll put him in the post. That'll be easy buckets like in close
Sure.
for OG. So I think that you have to put Neesmith on OG to match physicality to an extent. That also means that Neesmith won't be guarding a ton of point of attack. That could open him up for rebounds a little bit. But that also means that OG is not going to be used as a screener ever, right? Why would you want to bring Neesmith into the action? He's like their second best defender. You're going to be so if he's just not even like being used as a screener, he's being stayed home on by Neesmith on the shots. Like we think that's going to happen. I think this could be a really poor Anunoby series, and I don't think he gets much going, especially like when Nemhard and Neesmith are both in the game. And yeah, just want your take on that real quick. That's one of my main takeaways from the matchups that we see.
No, I definitely like the way you broke that down. I could also see them um not and it I mean what you said makes a ton of sense about sticking Turner on Hart, but I could also see them playing Halliburton on Hart just to hide him as much as they possibly can defensively. But
Yeah,
um like it does make a lot more sense just to have that rim protection there off of Josh Hart. So yeah, I mean it's just going to depend on the way they play them, and I would agree that I think OG would have a hard time with that matchup, and he's got some pretty high lines as well. So
yeah. Like I think what is it, 16.5 to start? I mean, we
yeah,
can get
16
into
and a half
that
points is
later.
pretty high.
Yeah. And then Joel, some other thoughts I have is Hallie. Like I said, I do think Hallie takes McCall. Like I said, I just think every team does this against the Knicks now, man. Like seriously, I would be stunned if any team really doesn't. But yeah, if you get Hallie on McCall, right, you might even McCall's been getting a little bit of usage here and there. I think he's been definitely
Yeah,
getting like the non-Brunson minutes. If he's being used as a screener a ton, that's just going to open up like little pick and pop things when they're trying to not switch the matchup and stuff. And maybe he even, gets a pick and roll here and there. And they just like put the ball in his hands a little bit more to see if he can take advantage of that Hallie matchup. So I don't hate the matchup for McCall, even though, we were talking about how Brunson's going to be they're going to stay home on Brunson drives and stuff, and Brunson isolations, all that stuff. It's probably not good for the role players. I could see McCall getting a little extra usage here. Turner on
I could
Hart,
definitely see that.
yeah. Turner on Hart, I think that opens up rebound stuff for Turner. Just want your thoughts on that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. If he's guarding Josh Hart and he's going to be down in the paint a ton, I think that definitely is a reasonable assumption.
Yep.
Probably opens up Hart's threes as well. Plus 176 for 2.
Yeah.
If Turner's going to be sagging off, but
And then Siakam on Towns. You said you like that matchup. I think that Cat could do pretty good in the post there. It's always going to be, how many post is Cat going to get?
Sure. But yeah, I think he could take advantage one-on-one. And even if Turner is, playing that like roamer position, Turner's notoriously like he'll foul a lot. So, Cat can get to the line too. Cat loves to flop. It's just going to depend on if he can get a whistle or not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see Cat being all right too. But yeah, that's like overall thoughts. So let's quick apply this, man, to the props. Joel, I'm not gonna make this bet, but I just don't see a world where Brunson doesn't lead the series in points if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening either. It's Brunson head and shoulders, in my opinion.
Like head and shoulders, man.
Yeah.
Cat, like I said, Cat just is gonna have too many foul trouble games, in a 7-game series. He's gonna have, like I said, I just don't see a world where Hart's not getting roamed off of by Turner. I just think that makes too much sense, and every team's been doing it. So I just can't see Cat averaging like more than 24 points in a series, to be honest with you. And then Siakam, I mean, the Pacers just play like, everyone eats hoops. Like, is anyone on the Pacers going to average like 22 plus?
No, I mean, yeah, it's not going to come close to what Brunson's putting up. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, guys, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like in my head, the probability of Brunson, like I seriously like without injury, do you like sell? I can't even talk. I'm like so like riled up about this. Without injury, do you like seriously see anyone like
anyone that has who would have the next best chance in your opinion?
Hallie, but like Hallie's gonna have a game.
I
With, like,
don't think it. I don't think. I think it would have to be Cat would be the next best.
Yeah.
But and even then, it's like not even. I don't think it's really that close.
Yeah. Brunson always does have some like weird ankle shit, bro. I swear that dude like rolls his ankle every game. So like I wouldn't like rule out like Brunson can get hurt. Yeah. But that's how I think about that. I totally agree with it. I don't think, like I said, I am so confident about Brunson winning this like most total points thing that I don't even think anyone else is like worth a sprinkle because you're just betting on an injury damn near.
Yeah. It's almost like we just take that and pair it with the 5.5 games.
Oh, I wonder if you can. Let's see. I'm not even logged into my FanDuel account, but I wonder if you can. Series total games. And yeah, cannot be combined into a parlay. Great.
Of course, FanDuel.
All right. Another thought I had here, Joel, is I think Mitchell Robinson against this Indy defense. I don't trust Jared Allen and Mobley had some games where they just absolutely dominated the glass. I think that Mitchell Robinson can be an absolute problem on the offensive boards.
Yeah, especially against Miles Turner inside. I think that makes a lot of sense. If they're going to play him big minutes or even just decent minutes like he played last series, I think he can, shred them up inside.
Yeah. And I'll talk a little bit more about Mitch on the Knicks defense versus Indy offense side of things. But we did mention, Joel, rebound leaders, and I think that I have something too that kind of goes against this, or not goes with it. Do you have any thoughts on the rebound leaders? Like, could you sell yourself on Turner averaging?
Nope. Nope.
What's like a high end outcome for Turner rebounds? Like 9,
7, 8.
You couldn't see 9, like if he just like has a great rebound series.
I literally could not see 9 from him.
Okay.
He's really that allergic.
Yeah. He is. What about Mitch at plus 4,200? I'm gonna talk about.
That's interesting for sure.
Yeah,
At that price, I would still think Cat. I mean, he's minus 520, so I think he's like a pretty considerable favorite. The problem's going to be for Mitch staying on the floor of the series is if he's guarding Miles Turner, he has to chase Turner out to the perimeter, and I'm just not sure if that's something you want to do. It's just like what I talked about with Jared Allen last series. I think that's something that Turner would struggle with.
yeah. I disagree a little bit on that. Like I said, maybe I'm just having like maybe I saw like a couple clips of Mitch and like I'm going too crazy about it. Mitch, I just thought Mitch held up in switches so good against Boston. Like the difference between him and Cat in switches was like night and day. Um, he's just like moving like really good for whatever reason. Mitch has been a drop big his entire career, and he just looked good, man. So that's another thing about this. So let's talk about the Knicks defense versus the Indy offense. I think that the Knicks have to go switch heavy, man. They did it against Boston. Tibbs finally made an adjustment. Joel, I just can't see drop coverage against a Halliburton Turner pick and roll having any success.
Yeah,
They're
I'd
gonna get
agree.
they're gonna get open three every single time. The defense is gonna be in heavy rotation.
I'd agree with that. Um, it's just is Tibbs going to see that the same way? I mean, they've played drop for like most of the season, so like I could see them, at least starting the series going back to that, just because that's just been their system for the whole year, and then adjusting off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see game one, maybe game one. But like I said, I think it would be only game one because Tibbs did actually adjust last series, like I said, with the
Yep.
pretty much switch everything against Boston. Maybe they go out and try it. Like I said, I don't think it's going to work whatsoever. Like a game one, Turner, Halliburton, like alt threes for Turner or something. And then just like game two, like sell the shit out of it after like they both go off and they start switching everything. I could see something like that. But just talking about the matchups real quick. Here's what I have. And I think that I could definitely be wrong on this. I think for sure Cat's gonna guard Turner, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah. OG on Halliburton. I'm not even sure about that. Um,
I would think it's going to be Mikhail.
Macau, yeah. I had Macau on Nemhard, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. And then yeah, because Macau makes sense, just like how he's built to guard
Yeah,
Hallie. He's like,
foot
and then
speed
I
and
had
everything.
yeah, and then I had Josh Hart on Siakam. I think that could easily end up being OG if Siakam's giving him
I
problems
think
with
so.
that.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So then I might put Josh on Nemhard, but at the same time, you do want Josh like guarding like somewhat of a weak side guy. Maybe you could even see Josh on Aaron Neesmith and then Brunson on Nemhard, but for now I have Brunson on Neesmith.
I'd
And like I
agree
said,
with that.
I just don't feel very confident in like the matchups on this side of things. I think the Knicks are very interchangeable. I think it might end up being very switch heavy defense to begin with, but yeah, I don't know. I do have this thought, Joel. Though, like I said, we talked about Mitch. Talked about how he was very switchable last series, but I think that he's so important for the series. The more I think about it, like I said, I do think he can hold up on Hallie better than Cat can, and that's going to be Hunt. They're going to be hunting Towns because you get Towns on Halliburton. That's going to be an advantage pretty much every time.
Yeah, for sure.
And Halliburton is for what he is. He's one of the best, highest IQ players when he does create an advantage, right? To make the right pass, find the open guy, and then they start swinging the ball around, playing Pacers hoops, and that's kind of what makes that team so special. So you really just don't want to let Halliburton get into advantage situations, and he's going to be hunting Cat, like absolutely hunting Cat. So Turner's going to be screening a ton, and if they can't put up in switches, and like I said, Halliburton is just going to turn into everyone kind of eating. So yeah, I love Mitch here, man. I do think he can dominate the offensive glass. I think he can hold up in switches. I just think that Mitch might be in for a decent series. What are your thoughts there?
I think that's just an interesting way you break that down. So like I definitely want to see how that plays out. but it's definitely an interesting game theory, and could be like a really solid edge going into the series for sure.
Yeah. When you look at these matchups, at least from like the starting fives, like where do you see the advantages? Like,
If
just attacking
Josh
side?
Hart is going to guard Siakam, I mean, that's something that I think Siakam can absolutely take advantage of.
Yeah, but that's like also an easy like switch, right? That's an easy fix. Like,
Sure.
okay, like, let's put OG on him.
OG on him, 100%.
So, like I said, I don't like even if like we would like nail that right. Like I feel like, and if that went wrong, it would just be fixed so fastly.
For
Like
sure. For sure.
so, yeah. Who can take advantage? Who do you trust to take advantage of Brunson? Do you really trust Halliburton to take advantage of Brunson? Like, I mean, I think it's like a plus matchup, but I don't think it's
I
like
mean, I don't trust Halliburton scoring wise really, or
yeah.
like consistently, almost ever.
I trust Halliburton against big men.
Yeah, sure. Like if he pulls a guy out, but like on just on a consistent basis, um, Hallie's just he's always very up and down scoring wise.
Hmm.
How do you feel about his assists though? Because I saw a line on Bet365 for him to average 10 assists a series is like plus 210 or something like that. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting.
Obviously switching isn't good for assists, and then that's like how I
Sure.
think that they're gonna go about it. But if you beat your man off the dribble, that's an easy way to get assists. Although it can be hockey assists a lot of times, but
He
um,
really struggled last series against the Cavs when, and they were doing a ton of switch stuff. So
yeah,
um, I think it definitely will depend on if they're going to be switching or not, right?
yeah. 10 assists kind of seems like a big ask. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would probably have him like 9, but yeah, plus 200. I mean, you got to price that in, right? I don't think it's terrible. It could be a decent buy low from last series, but and if we're wrong and they come out and mixing in a ton of
And
drop, like
drop. Yep.
yeah. Okay, Joel. So that's kind of the thoughts. Like I said, do you have any like very very strong convictions on like New York's defense versus Indy offense before we move on?
Not really. No, I always like to just get, a little bit of a feel, in the first game and, see what's working and then kind of base my opinions off of like what adjustments I think should be made,
Yeah,
just from a coach's perspective and, try to get ahead of those for edges.
yeah, for sure. Okay. Series most total rebounds. Like I said, man, what if Catch is getting hunted every possession? What if Mitch is like sneaky outplaying him some games? What
That
if Cat
price is ridiculous.
what if Cat averages like 32 minutes a series? You mix in a couple foul trouble games, a blowout game maybe. Is that crazy?
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, I think Cat. I mean, 32 minutes is still pretty good for Cat, but
Could you sell yourself on anyone else on this rebound market? Because
I could
Josh,
not.
yeah.
I couldn't sell
One
myself on Josh.
one thing I noticed about Josh is that sometimes low key he'd be riding pine for Deuce McBride. Like he's not this locked for 44 minutes anymore. Like not even close. If not, I would want to take a bite at plus 500. But since I noticed that, I think I'd want to stay off. Is there any
Yeah,
like pacing?
I
Who's
mean, it's
pacing?
hard to play. It's hard to play him if they're gonna just, use roamers against them. It's hard to keep him
Mhm.
on the floor unless he's making his shots. And against Boston, there was a few games where he wasn't making shots and he was shooting poor percentages from the floor, and it's hard to keep him out there in those situations.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, like I said, I just think that Cat's gonna be guarding a lot. Like he's gonna be guarding so many actions. I think that I could see a world where Cat averages like 10 rebounds on the dot. Is there anyone who you could see having a spike rebounding series where they're averaging like more than 10 rebounds? Because that's like, let's be real, 10 rebounds per game is like a really low number for Cat.
Yeah,
I
that
kind of
is low.
could
I
you who
mean,
could
the next in line guy is definitely Hart. Like,
yeah,
if someone's gonna spike in rebounds, I think it has to be Josh Hart.
yeah. Could you I
But
can't
if
I
he's
just
not, if he, if he's not gonna play, then I don't see anyone touching Cat's rebounding upside,
yeah.
unless Mitch is playing big minutes, and then we're talking, we're talking Mitch.
Yeah,
I don't see Siakam leading, like beating Cat rebounds wise. Like I just don't see that.
me neither. Yeah, me neither.
And I mean, yeah, it's.
We suck, bro. we
I mean, it's tough to. It's tough to play any of these big money props on this, especially when we have a guy who's. I mean, what's Cat's minus 650?
Yep, minus 650. Lean towards Josh, I guess, but like I said, I wouldn't play it.
Yeah, me neither.
He'd probably be my best bet though. Joel, you have some conviction on this. Most series threes made. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I like Halliburton. If I mean, if they're gonna, if it's gonna be a switch heavy scheme, and then Hallie, he's gonna get some bigs on him. He loves to hit the step back. But
Mhm.
just last series, the Knicks allowed 20 pull-up threes per game to the Celtics, and Jason Tatum was getting all this kinds of flack for taking all those threes. But during the season, Halliburton averaged 3 threes made per game on like 8 attempts. Brunson was at like 2.3. He's not really a guy who wants to just shoot a ton of threes, and you can get Halliburton at a better price than this even on 365. So I really think there's a lot of value on that one.
I do too. I actually do too. And I remember what the Cavs were doing or the Pacers were doing against Donovan is like they were really just like encouraging driving lanes for a lot of the series too. Like really trying to funnel stuff inside the paint.
And most
So
of Donovan, when he does shoot pull up threes, it's like step backs and stuff. It's not really like the type of style of three that Brunson likes to shoot. They're almost like contested. It's like a weird move that he like does into like pull ups.
yeah, yeah, Hallie's just gonna be hunting for those bigs, man. I think that the pull up threes, in isolation, are gonna be there all the time. One thing that the Knicks are never gonna do is put two to the ball on Halliburton. Never.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Joel, I agree. And you mentioned that there's a better price and market out there too. I think that that's a very strong bet. You're getting a pretty good number on that. I
And
will
if they
say, like,
play any drop, like that just helps him immensely as well.
yeah, for sure. Like I said, all these Knicks role players, OG, Cat. Well, Cat's not a role player. All these other Knicks guys, like I said, man, they're gonna stay home on them. I'm very confident that Cat does not get guarded by Turner. I think that they're all just like a donation. Like I don't see a world where any of these like where McCall or OGs like leading the league in series or in threes personally.
Yep.
Neesmith, like I said, uh, probably not. Josh Hart, shit, Josh Hart hitting like three threes a game. I
I
could
don't know
actually, you
about
could
you.
you could sneaky sell me on Josh Hart. What if he has like a 5 or 6 3 game because he's just wide the hell open?
And he
But
makes one
then,
every single
yeah,
game from there
yeah,
on
no.
out.
But yeah, I agree with that Hallie one. It's square. It's a favorite, but money's still the same.
Yeah, I mean it's a favorite on FanDuel. It's not a favorite on 365 or DK, I don't think. Or DK, I think he's actually like plus 175. It's like a pretty big difference. So like there's also like some EV value there as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we touched on points. It's got to be Brunson, and like
Yep.
I would actually like love pairing this with something if you needed something. Um, assists. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Brunson here. I don't think that they force the
No,
ball out of his hands much. Um, so then it comes down to Halliburton at minus 290. Uh, man,
that's not
I,
bad. I mean that's minus 290 is not terrible. Like I think he pretty overwhelmingly should be the favorite, right?
yeah.
Um,
I thi-
I saw a market, I think, on DK for Nemhard to average 6+ assists. It was like minus 125.
Okay.
So I think Halliburton certainly clears 6. He should be like no less than like averaging like 8, my opinion.
Yeah. You could maybe sell me on a Josh Hart regression series. Not enough to lead it in assists, but
No, not enough to beat Halliburton. That's like the big thing.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of pace in this game. Josh Hart's really at his best as like a transition, playmaker, and obviously he'll be able to flow into hubs or be a hub and flow into DHOs. With Turner sitting and drop on him if he doesn't want to shoot the ball. Pacers overall, just they're a good defense, but I could see Josh having like with the pace and the transition opportunities. I could see Josh having like a 6 assists per game series, but yeah, definitely nothing to you know lead the series in. So yeah, another boring one, man. But chalk Hallie's probably gonna lead it. So
Yeah, it's 100%.
dude,
That's as chalk as it gets.
yeah. Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about here? So yeah. Last thing I guess I wanted to ask you about. Do you have any so Pacers are gonna play their bench a ton. One thing I did want to mention is that Deuce McBride, like I said, he's been playing a ton of minutes recently. I think he had like 28 and then 32, and obviously 32 was maybe like a little bit skewed due to the game script, but I mean that's still a lot. And this Tibbs left its guys in somewhat decently late. So, but yeah, Deuce has been playing a ton. I want to. Do you remember last season or last postseason when Deuce like legit could not guard TJ McConnell for whatever reason?
Yeah.
So, um, I don't know. I wonder if Deuce falls back in line a little bit, especially
I
maybe if
think
like
for sure he does. I think you get a reset here off of last series, and you kind of reset back to baseline a little bit
yeah
if you're both of these teams. You're not
yeah
going to carry forward all the adjustments that you had from the last series. So I think it's pretty likely Deuce, at least in the beginning of the series, takes a step back, and then obviously as you go from there, you can see spikes and decreases for the other guys.
hmm TJ McConnell, I think it actually have a pretty good series. Maybe a little bit of drop coverage mixed in, especially he's coming off the bench, and it's not Turner, it's like Bryant, so it's like those bigs will be like sitting in drop instead of like having to switch to take away the Turner threes or something. But also like TJ's very quick, and I trust him a ton to hunt these big men, with his foot speed and get to that mid range. He had a great series against them last year. And let me quick look that up, man. TJ McConnell. Oh, TJ
Amazing
McConnell.
series.
Yeah, I want to quick go to b-ball reference and quick look it up.
Averaged 11.6.
Against the Knicks last year.
Yeah, over the course of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, 18, 10, 6, 15, 7, 15, 12. Really good plus minuses in most of the games. So yeah, it's tough to like find minutes for TJ, right? Just because Nemhard's probably going to play a ton to guard Brunson, and he's just a great player. Same with Halliburton. But I do think TJ's slightly interesting on a per minute basis. Do you have any TJ thoughts?
I love TJ. I just love TJ as a player. He's got low lines too, so I mean, anytime I get a chance to bet TJ, I love betting TJ.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, I mean, 5.5 points line is pretty awesome for him.
yeah, for sure. Had a terrible game there. That's a perfect buy low spot. Matherin, Toppin, any last role player thoughts before we give a quick glance on the first opening night props for these, or opening game of the series?
Yeah, Toppin's like a big time pass for me. Matherin's always interesting, but I mean, sometimes he can just play himself out of minutes, or he'll play himself into a bunch of minutes. So like his minutes are just so variable depending on how he's playing that for me it's just something for me to stay away from. I
Yeah,
love Matherin though. Like I think Matherin needs to get out of Indy and somewhere that he can get like consistent run, because I think he's actually a really good player.
agreed. Yeah, agreed. 100%. So yeah, looking at these lines, Joel, based off of what we just talked about, Mitch Robinson has a 4.5 point line. His rebounds are at 6.5. So it looks like his lines are
Juicing
pretty.
over too.
What's up?
Juicing over too.
Yeah.
Minus 138,
Yep.
minus 135, minus 129. So
Yeah, I'm not so sure what I think about Mitch. At this
it seems like
number,
the market agrees with you.
Yeah. I mean, that's because he was, actually playing a ton, and he was also getting hack-a-Mitch, which was like giving him free points here and there. So, I
Oh
mean,
man,
maybe
it
that
was
happens again.
so annoying to watch.
Yeah, but Joel, from what we talked
Absolutely.
about, like I said, I'm a big fan of OG unders this series. Just a big fan.
Yeah,
I
16 and
feel
a half
very
is too
confident.
high.
Yeah, I feel very confident that he's going to get guarded by Neesmith, and they're going to stay home on shooters, and he's not going to be used as a screener. So you could even be like under assists too. Throw that in there, like under points and assists at 18 and a half. I don't hate. Um, yeah, but what is your best first initial look when looking at these lines here?
Um, honestly, I'd probably stick with the Halliburton threes at plus 100.
Yeah, two and a half.
Three threes. For me, just a lot of value there, just with the way the Knicks have been playing defense. I mean, even all season against pick and roll ball handlers. So, like I said, if they're going to come back a little bit to baseline for game one, I like that. But even if they're switching bigs onto Halliburton, I think he can get to his spots.
Yep.
What's the line? What's the line here?
For Hallie,
No, like the game line.
game line is Indy +4. So yeah,
I looked at a combo of the Knicks to win game one plus the Pacers to win the series because I think the Knicks probably take care of business at home game one, right?
yeah,
I mean the Garden's going to be bumping for a conference finals. Um, so I like something like that. I think it was plus two something. If you like, just to add a little bit extra juice, if you like the Pacers to win the series, like we do value wise, but I
Joel
think TJ's
TJ.
interesting. I think TJ's very interesting. Those lines.
This is him against the Knicks last postseason. Obviously, I think Matherin was out for it. It's a different year, but I like TJ in this matchup again this year. I think that you're getting a great buy number first of all, just because he happened to play 10 minutes last game. I don't think that's sticky whatsoever. Completely different
No,
matchup.
I agree.
Had some great moments in this postseason already as well. Like sort of like the playoffs. I mean, he's been pretty good on this line. Obviously, ups and downs. It seems like maybe like Olts. Sometimes he just goes off, but yeah, man, TJPRA, fan of that.
I like it. I think I like the 5.5 points a little bit better, but
Yeah,
they're both pretty equal.
PA, yeah, 9.5 for sure. Yeah, 5.5. I think that makes sense. Was there anyone else that we really mentioned? You said Josh Hart had a 1.5 threes line. I mean,
I
it's the
think
same
it's
thing with
interesting. At plus 176, I think there's some decent value there. If indeed he's getting guarded by Turner, and Turner's just kind of roaming around the paint,
yeah.
which I think you're probably spot on.
So Turner can't get
Josh
7
Hart,
rebounds in that role.
Josh Hart cooked the Pacers this year. I
Let's
looked at
see.
his game logs. I mean, he
Oh
fried
wow.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like he was. Let's see. Yeah.
OG
Wow.
was out one of them. I mean, and that's pretty much it for just one game, but
Yeah. Wow. That
did
is
really well.
22 points per game for Josh Hart. Hell yeah. That's some good stuff from him. Yeah. Was there anything else that we talked about? Brunson. What about Brunson points at 28.5, assists at 7.5? Do any of those like I think I'm leaning under on assists
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, I'd lean pretty heavily over on his points. I think the under assist is actually like a really good play, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Like I was thinking six and
Like
a
that
half.
might be an official play. Yeah, I don't know why that's 7.5. I don't agree with that really at all. I think that line should be 6.5.
Yep. What about a potential sell high on Deuce, 9.5 PRA? I mean, I don't know. Like I said, definitely struggles with that McConnell matchup off the bench, and maybe just sell high overall from last series. And if we think things revert back to normal, but
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have him 20 max 20 minutes to start the series. So I really like it. 15 to 20 is the range I'd put him at.
Yeah. We talked about this, and I know you hate betting on him. Turner, 7 rebounds, should be guarding Hart. I mean, I don't know, man. Dude.
Dude, you're not getting me on
bro.
this one, dude.
He's like 7 foot
You're
tall.
not getting me on this one.
Man.
I mean,
Okay.
it's true. You're right though. He should have the matchup to do it. It's just, I mean, am I gonna really get caught betting Miles Turner to rebound the basketball? I'm not sure.
I also think it's just going to be. I think that Pacers might have some like really poor rebounding games overall, especially in the games where Mitch plays a lot.
Sure, I'd like to see how the pace of this game plays out as well. Like, it's going to be very interesting to see, who can dictate the pace.
Yeah, Knicks
between
like to
teams.
walk that shit up every time.
Yep.
Unless it's Josh Hart, and then the Pacers, they're just going to go. So
Yep.
Pacers aren't going to slow down. Like, they don't slow down because it's the Eastern Conference Finals now. So they're going to keep doing their thing.
And that's going to have a lot of impact on a lot of these lines, I think, too. If the Knicks can dictate pace a little more, some of these lines might be a little too high. And then if the Pacers can, some of them might be a little too low. It's just going to be like, the faster the game's played, the more possessions, the more chances for, all these stats.
For sure. Okay, Joel. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up today?
Not really. This game is played Wednesday, right?
Yep.
And then Tuesday is your Wolves, right? Which I'm disappointed they haven't released any of the futures for that.
Yep.
So
Why
I
are you
guess
gonna
we're
bet?
waiting
Are you
to
gonna
see
bet
what.
OKC in 4? Fucking hate
Maybe.
it.
I honestly think it could be a 4 or 5 game series. So.
Yeah, Wolves in 5, baby. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Let's quick summarize it though. So look, man, I love the Pacers Knicks over 5.5 games. Like I said, man, if it was a minus 150, I would have had this play officially for y'all. It just isn't. So I might try to find a way to. What's up?
All right, no, I agree. I would do the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna shop around, maybe wait for a number to pop up if it is going to. Like I said, I'm guessing. I feel like most people are probably gonna think that same way, but yeah, man. And then if you don't care about juice, like I said, me and Joel both agree. Like, we just don't see a way in the world where Jalen isn't the leader in points without an injury to him. Which injuries are definitely a part of the game. They happen, and Brunson has had.
They've been happening a lot these playoffs.
Yeah. Brunson's had crappy ankles, all ankle, all postseason, too. So it's a lot of things can go wrong and make you feel like a dummy. But like I said, I truly don't see a world where Brunson isn't averaging the most points in the series. So I guess from the futures market, that's kind of the takeaways. Obviously, we talked about a lot of stuff. Like I said, Joel loves Halliburton to lead the series in threes, especially at like a good like plus 150 or 250 price, and I tend to agree. With that as well, should be able to fry those Knicks bigs, and I think that he's going to be hunting them relentlessly. It's a way to exploit this Knicks defense. And yeah, game 1, I love OG under points and assists at that 18.5 number. Joel loves just kicking it off with his guy Hallie, 2.5 threes, and TJ McConnell stuff, baby. TJ McConnell series. So. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys did enjoy this type of content, I know this was a long one, but if you guys do enjoy this type of content, make sure to drop a like, sub to the channel. If you guys are on podcast form, please leave 5-star reviews, all that good stuff. Also, make sure to follow Joel on X at JG4President. I'll have it linked down below in the description. And yeah, Joel, any last words you want to get off before we wrap this thing up officially?
No, just thanks for having me, dude.
Hell yeah.
Always
Thanks for
appreciate
joining
coming
me.
on.
Yep. Thanks for joining me. Talking some hoops. Always some good shit. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in once again. Catch you guys